Yo. All right. So now I want to hop into the second part of the my driving for dollars process virtually. Um, I know I mentioned in the first part that I do it for free. I will be using Propstream. It is $100 a month, or like 97 a month, I think. I am grateful enough to have won a giveaway that gave me a free year subscription to this software. It's pretty, for me now in my processes, it's pretty essential. Uh, when my year runs out, I fully plan on going ahead and subscribing to the software here. So I would recommend anybody who's looking to really take it seriously to go ahead and invest in this. Now this is my second phase, right? My second part of the process here. What I'll be doing with PropStream is cross-referencing all of the properties that I have written down by hand from Driving for Dollars on Google Maps. And the reason I want to do this is because, again, there is some discrepancies here, right? So because I'm not actually in my car driving down these streets, I'm unable to confirm that this is still what the property looks like, right? Because again, this image capture date right here is October 29th, 2019. So it's almost been 2 years since this picture was taken of, say, this property right here. So I just want to make sure that I'm not wasting any money skip tracing a property that maybe has already been purchased by a cash investor and has already been fixed and flipped, right? So that's what PropStream is going to do for me. So now that I have a list that I've handwritten in my notebook or on a piece of paper, I'm just going to go ahead and start searching these properties. And I'm going to show you what exactly I'm looking for to determine whether or not I'm going to add them to my list. So I search it in the search bar, pull it here, and then I'm going to go ahead and click details. Now I'm looking for a few things. So one is going to be the length of ownership. So again, this picture was taken in 2019, about 2 years ago. So if this length of ownership was 2 years or less, I'm automatically ruling it out because somebody has already purchased this property. I would imagine that, and this isn't the one that I'm looking at, but just to kind of, again, as an example, I would imagine that somebody has already purchased it. Even though it's 4 years, I still am going to consider not adding this because whoever purchased the property, they only purchased it 4 years ago. So they may not be or they may not have owned the property long enough to really have any type of motivation to sell it. Even if they are in a financial situation where they probably should sell it, they may not have been in that financial situation long enough to have let that situation fester and to really come to the determination like, oh, okay, I need to sell this property. But just for example's sake, 4 years, 3 months, that's beyond the image capture date. So that's good for me. Another thing that I'm looking at just real briefly is if it's owner occupied or non-owner occupied, absentee owner, meaning that the person who owns the property doesn't live there. But in this case, the owner of the property does live in the property because it's owner occupied. Right here, just real quick, occupied or vacant. If it's vacant, I'm pretty much automatically adding it to my list. What else? I'm just gonna determine real quickly single family residence. I'm only going after single families right now. And purchase method, finance, or if it was purchased cash, it'll say cash here as well. And that's pretty much all I'm looking for. And the last thing that I would be looking for is the linked properties little tab right here. Hopefully another property that I pull up will have it because then I'm going to determine, I guess I'll kind of wait and see. So for this one, I would add it. And again, just in the whole processes thing, I really don't spend too much time. I feel like I've become pretty proficient at it where I can just take a quick glimpse and I've already realized this is one that I'm going to add. So all I'm doing is clicking save up here and it's just going to save it to a general, my properties list within Propstream. Exit out and then I'm on to the next one. And you can go pretty quickly, especially when you're on the same street because all you have to do is change the house number there. Go to the next one, pull it up in details, and you can see perfect. So this one's non-owner occupied, meaning again that the owner of the property doesn't live there. They're likely renting it out to a tenant. They've owned it for almost 11 years, financed it, single family, And this is a perfect example. So linked properties. Propstream has identified that the owner of this property likely owns other properties, and they likely own 6 total properties. Now you can see, the owner name is the same in some of these. Travelers is the name of this property, the owner of this property. So they own the one that I'm looking at right now, and for sure a vacant lot in Baytown. I say for sure because the names match. Now the principal or the owner of this company could have a share in these companies as well. I'm not quite sure why Propstream is able to, or how they're able to identify that they have, some type of stake in these properties as well. But I just go ahead and I take their word for it, right? So this is one where I probably wouldn't add it, only because I kind of keep, again, a strict criteria. For me personally, if they own 3, maybe 4 properties or more, I don't add it because they're likely an investor and they have the means to liquidate some of their assets in order to make the necessary repairs to the property, right? So I'm looking for somebody who owns, 1, 2 properties. Their home is clearly in physical distress and they don't have the financial means to make the necessary repairs. Whereas somebody who owns multiple houses, they can, sell this property, make the repairs on this property, get top dollar for it, sell this property. You know what I mean? They have options. So this is one where I may add, I may not, just for the sake of the video. I'll go ahead and say this is not one that I'm going to add, right? So I would just move on to the next one. On to the next, and I just want to go through a few because in some cases. So perfect. Owner occupied, 27 years, no linked properties, so this is likely their one and only property. Again, just right off the rip, this is one that I'm going to save. And there you go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into my properties where these properties are getting saved. I'm going to go ahead and you can see the 2 that I just added. So as I'm building it out, I'm going to, it's going to get a lot longer than 2. Then what I'm going to do is actually click through and I'm going to say actions. I'm going to say add to marketing list, which is going to be down here, right? So I have driving for dollars. These are my non-skip trace, non-exported properties. So I'm going to go ahead and it's already selected, driving for dollars new. So it's going to add it to this list here. I'm going to say delete the selected 2 properties from my properties when you go ahead and add them to this list here. So it's essentially just going to move these 2 properties down here. I'm going to say save. So again, they're going to get deleted from this list and they're going to get added to this list. So this is going to be 0 and now this is 129. Then what I'm going to do when I'm ready is come in here, new 129. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to say actions. I'm going to say, I'm just going to go ahead and export them. They get exported. I can pull them up now and I can import them into my skip tracing service. I use batch skip tracing. Not going to go through the whole process, but you upload your list into batch. It spits out numbers, emails, and all that good stuff. And then you can go ahead and import that skip trace list into your dialer. So hopefully that makes sense. And then on the next one, I'll kind of go into how I'm able to find some buyers in this area by just using the same exact process. So look out for that one.